Some of these conspiracies are wild, unsettling, and highly speculative. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. Phantom submarine refers to unexplained underwater sightings and sonar detections of unidentified submersible objects that defy conventional explanation. Naval forces from various countries have reported encounters with these mysterious vessels, which exhibit capabilities far beyond known submarine technology. These phantom subs are said to achieve impossible speeds and depths, with some reports claiming they can outmaneuver and evade the most advanced tracking systems. Declassified military documents reveal multiple instances of phantom submarine encounters during the Cold War, sparking speculation about secret advanced technologies. Some researchers believe these sightings could be evidence of extraterrestrial underwater bases or vehicles capable of transitioning between water and air. Eyewitness accounts describe silent, glowing objects moving beneath the waves, leaving no visible wake or disturbance in the water. Certain theorists propose that these phantom submarines might be remnants of advanced ancient civilizations operating from hidden underwater cities. Unusual patterns of marine life behavior and unexplained oceanic phenomena have been attributed to the presence of these enigmatic vessels. Some naval experts suggest that phantom submarine sightings could be the result of previously unknown natural phenomena or undiscovered sea creatures. Conspiracy theorists argue that governments possess knowledge of these craft, but suppress the information to maintain technological superiority. The persistent nature of phantom submarine reports across decades and geographical locations has led some to believe in the existence of a hidden underwater civilization. The Buru was a large aquatic creature reported to inhabit the marshlands and swamps of the Zero Valley in India during the early 20th century, described by local Apatani tribes as a 15-foot-long animal resembling a cross between a lizard and a dolphin. British zoologist Ralph Izard led an expedition in 1948 to search for the creature, gathering multiple consistent eyewitness accounts describing the Buru's blue-black coloring, smooth skin, and elongated neck. The Apatani people maintained detailed oral histories about the Buru, explaining how these creatures once dominated the valley's waters until extensive land reclamation projects in the 1940s drained many of the swamps. Paleontological evidence shows that prehistoric amphibians, similar to the described Buru, once existed in the region, suggesting the possibility that a remnant population might have survived in the isolated valley. The Zero Valley's unique geographical isolation and subtropical climate could have preserved conditions suitable for the survival of ancient species, much like the discovery of the coelacanth demonstrated how prehistoric creatures can persist in specific environments. Local accounts consistently mention the Buru's distinctive bellowing call and its habit of using its hard nose to dig in the marshland, behaviors that align with known characteristics of certain amphibian species. Several unusual tracks and marks found in the remaining swampland during the 1948 expedition matched the descriptions of Buru activity, including distinctive trenches that couldn't be attributed to known wildlife in the area. The SCP Foundation's extensive database of anomalous objects and entities allegedly contains real classified documents that were strategically hidden within its vast collection of user-submitted fiction. Several SCP entries display unusual similarities to actual government research projects and classified experiments, particularly those from MK Ultra and various military programs of the Cold War era. Multiple SCP articles were posted anonymously through various proxy servers, with writing styles and technical details that notably differ from typical community submissions. Certain entries contain extremely specific scientific and procedural information that appears unnecessarily detailed for creative writing, including precise chemical compounds and experimental procedures that were later verified to work in real laboratory settings. The formatting and documentation style of many early SCP articles closely mirrors actual government classification systems and internal documentation procedures that weren't publicly known at the time of writing. Several SCP entries regarding psychological experiments and mind control techniques were posted years before similar declassified programs were revealed through Freedom of Information Act requests. The Wiki's unusual moderation structure and strict quality control system could serve as an effective method for maintaining the authenticity of leaked documents while allowing them to hide in plain sight among fictional entries. Former government employees in online forums have noted striking similarities between certain SCP containment procedures and actual protocols used in high-security research facilities. The concept that Earth's oceans have no true bottom stems from numerous deep-sea exploration missions that consistently discover new, deeper points beyond what was previously thought to be the seafloor. Advanced sonar mapping has revealed vast networks of underwater caves and trenches that appear to extend beyond our current technological capabilities to measure them accurately. Marine researchers have documented unexplained sonar readings showing apparent gaps or holes in the seafloor, particularly in areas near the Mariana Trench and other deep ocean locations. Historical records from multiple cultures describe ancient mariners encountering bottomless whirlpools in areas where depth-sounding weights would never strike bottom, suggesting this phenomenon has been observed throughout human history. Several deep-sea expeditions have reported equipment failures and anomalous readings when attempting to measure certain ocean depths, with sensors indicating impossible measurements or showing continuous depth increases. The discovery of extensive underwater river systems and subterranean oceans beneath the Earth's crust suggests the possibility of connections between surface waters and deeper geological structures. Modern submarine pilots have reported experiencing unexpected currents and pressure changes in deep ocean environments that cannot be explained by known oceanographic patterns. The fact that less than 5% of Earth's oceans have been thoroughly mapped and explored leaves open the possibility of undiscovered connections to deeper planetary systems. Recent geological studies have identified previously unknown layers of water-bearing rock extending far deeper into the Earth than previously thought possible, suggesting surface oceans might connect to these deeper reservoirs. Japanese animation studios in the 1980s and early 1990s were allegedly influenced by various religious cults, who used anime as a medium to spread their beliefs and recruit new followers through subliminal messaging and esoteric symbolism. Several prominent anime directors and artists from this era were documented members of religious movements, including Aum Shinrikyo and other New Age spiritual groups, incorporating their doctrines into storylines and visual motifs. Specific color patterns and animation sequences in certain anime series matched meditation techniques used by these religious groups, potentially designed to induce trance-like states in viewers. Recurring themes of apocalyptic events, technological ascension, and spiritual evolution in many popular series align directly with the teachings of various Japanese new religious movements of the time. Production companies associated with these religious groups often funded anime projects through complex networks of shell corporations, explaining the unusual production credits and distribution patterns of certain series. Voice actors reported being required to recite specific mantras or prayers before recording sessions, with these vibration patterns allegedly being layered into the final audio mix. Internal documents from certain animation studios reveal detailed guidelines for incorporating specific geometric patterns and numerical sequences that corresponded to religious teachings. The sudden cancellation or modification of several anime series coincided with government investigations into religious organizations, suggesting attempts to conceal connections between the two. Analysis of background art in various anime has revealed hidden religious symbols and text, often visible only when frames are viewed individually or played in reverse. Gog and Magog were believed to be giant humanoid beings imprisoned behind a Great Wall by Alexander the Great, mentioned in both biblical texts and Islamic traditions as harbingers of the end times. Ancient Arabic and Persian manuscripts describe them as flesh-eating creatures of enormous size who attempted to breach Alexander's barrier daily by licking and scratching at its iron walls. Historical accounts from medieval travelers, including Marco Polo, claim to have found evidence of the Great Wall meant to contain these beings in various locations across Asia, with some identifying it as portions of the Great Wall of China. Multiple archaeological sites across Europe and Asia have uncovered unusually large humanoid remains and megalithic structures that local traditions associate with Gog and Magog. The Quran specifically mentions that these beings would eventually break free through their barrier using advanced tools and technology, coinciding with various ancient texts that describe them as possessing sophisticated metallurgical knowledge. British folklore preserves accounts of these giants as the original inhabitants of Albion, ancient Britain, with effigies of Gog and Magog still standing as guardians of the City of London at Guildhall. Geological surveys of regions traditionally associated with Alexander's barrier have revealed evidence of ancient metalworking activities and unusual mineral deposits that align with historical descriptions of the wall's construction. Several medieval Islamic scholars documented detailed measurements and locations of the barrier, providing specific geographical coordinates that correspond to known archaeological sites in the Caucasus Mountains. David Peters' controversial reconstructions of prehistoric animals and evolutionary relationships offer an alternative view to mainstream paleontology, suggesting that pterosaurs evolved into birds and that many fossil specimens have been misclassified. His detailed analysis of fossil photographs and specimens has identified features that he claims were overlooked by traditional researchers, including small skull bones and tissue impressions that could change our understanding of ancient animal relationships. Peters developed a specialized technique called digital graphic segregation, which uses photomanipulation to reveal hidden anatomical details in fossil specimens that aren't visible to the naked eye. Several of his reconstructions predicted the existence of certain anatomical features in pterosaurs that were later confirmed by new fossil discoveries, particularly regarding soft tissue preservation. His work on the evolutionary relationships between different groups of prehistoric reptiles has identified potential transitional forms that could fill gaps in the current understanding of vertebrate evolution. The digital enhancement techniques he uses have revealed consistent patterns across multiple specimens, suggesting these findings aren't random artifacts but potentially genuine anatomical features. Some of his more radical interpretations about the relationship between pterosaurs and modern birds align with certain genetic studies showing unexpected similarities between these groups. Peters' method of analyzing fossils through digital photography allows for the examination of specimens without potentially damaging them through physical handling, preserving important details that might otherwise be lost. The Eozoon Canadense was a supposed fossilized organism discovered in Canadian limestone formations in 1864, believed to be evidence of the earliest known life forms on Earth at 3.5 billion years old. Multiple respected Victorian scientists, including Charles Darwin, supported its authenticity based on detailed microscopic analysis, showing what appeared to be complex chambered structures similar to modern foraminifera. The specimens displayed intricate patterns of calcite and serpentine minerals that seemed to preserve the internal chambers and canals of an ancient marine organism. Advanced microscopy techniques of the era revealed what appeared to be tiny tubes and pore-like structures that matched known biological features in modern single-celled organisms. The formation's age and location aligned perfectly with predictions about where Earth's earliest life forms would have emerged, leading to its acceptance by much of the scientific community for several decades. Chemical analysis of the specimens showed concentrations of carbon and other organic materials in patterns that suggested biological origin rather than purely mineral formation. Similar structures were later found in other ancient limestone deposits around the world, suggesting a widespread presence of these organisms in Earth's early oceans. The discovery influenced early theories about evolution and the emergence of life, with its complex structure suggesting that sophisticated organisms existed far earlier than previously thought. The debate over Eozoon Canadense's authenticity contributed significantly to the development of paleontological techniques and the study of ancient life forms. The unusual preservation patterns found in several Compsognathus fossils suggest these small dinosaurs may have possessed flipper-like limbs rather than the traditional bird-like feet typically depicted in reconstructions. Multiple specimens show unusual splaying of the toe bones and potential webbing impressions between the digits, similar to patterns seen in modern semi-aquatic animals. The sediments where Compsognathus fossils are found consistently indicate shallow marine or lagoon environments, suggesting these animals spent significant time in or near water. Detailed analysis of their leg bone structure reveals similarities to modern diving birds and semi-aquatic reptiles, with features that could have supported swimming movements. Skin impressions from some specimens show traces of what might be specialized scales or tissues adapted for aquatic locomotion, particularly around the feet and lower legs. The animal's long, stiff tail bears structural similarities to those of modern aquatic lizards, potentially serving as a steering mechanism while swimming. Microscopic studies of their bone density patterns align more closely with semi-aquatic animals than with purely terrestrial ones, indicating regular exposure to aquatic environments. The positioning of their eye sockets and nostrils in well-preserved skull specimens suggests adaptations that would have been useful for surface swimming, similar to modern marine iguanas. Chemical analysis of their bones indicates regular exposure to marine environments, with mineral compositions matching those found in other known aquatic species from the same time period. Organism 46b refers to an alleged giant psychic octopus discovered by Russian scientists in Lake Vostok, a prehistoric freshwater lake located 2 miles beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. Russian officials reported the creature possessed remarkable camouflage abilities, being able to perfectly mimic the appearance of other aquatic animals and even alter its size from 5 to 50 feet in length. Several members of the research team vanished during the Lake Vostok expedition, with surviving documents describing attacks from what appeared to be fellow team members who turned out to be the creature in disguise. The extreme isolation of Lake Vostok, having been sealed off from the outside world for up to 15 million years, could have allowed for the evolution of unique adaptations and abilities not seen in other cephalopods. Leaked military documents suggest the organism could release a powerful venom capable of paralyzing prey from a distance of up to 150 feet, demonstrating unprecedented hunting capabilities. Temperature readings from the lake showed unusual thermal patterns consistent with the movement of a large organism, despite conditions that should have made complex life impossible. Russian naval reports described the creature's ability to emit electromagnetic pulses that interfered with research equipment, similar to abilities found in some deep-sea creatures, but far more powerful. Geological surveys of Lake Vostok revealed networks of underwater caves and tunnels large enough to harbor a significant population of these creatures, explaining why they remained undetected during initial explorations. The Minhocao is a massive underground creature reported in South American regions during the 1800s, described as a 150-foot-long worm-like animal that created extensive tunnel systems beneath rural areas of Brazil and Paraguay. Multiple farmers and landowners documented incidents where large tracts of land would suddenly collapse, leaving behind perfectly smooth tunnels up to 30 feet in diameter. Local officials recorded cases of entire pine groves being pulled underground overnight, with trees found uprooted and dragged into tunnel systems that extended for miles. Indigenous tribes in the region maintained detailed oral histories about the creature, describing its ability to cause tremors and redirect underground water sources, which aligned with geological events in the area. Several expeditions in the late 1800s discovered unusual soil formations and underground structures that couldn't be explained by known geological processes or other burrowing animals. Chemical analysis of soil samples from reported Minhocao tunnels showed high concentrations of unique digestive enzymes similar to those produced by modern earthworms, but in much higher quantities. The creature's reported behavior and physical characteristics closely match those of giant extinct amphisbaenians, suggesting it could be a surviving member of this ancient group of burrowing reptiles. Multiple museum collections contain preserved soil samples and castings from the period showing distinctive marking patterns that differ from known geological or animal-made formations. The Amarillo Zoo creature refers to a mysterious figure captured on security cameras at 1:25 a.m. on May 21, 2022, appearing to walk upright on 2 legs outside the perimeter fence of the Amarillo Zoo in Texas. The image shows a dark, furry humanoid form with pointed ears, displaying distinct canine features while maintaining a bipedal stance, characteristics that align with various cryptozoological entities reported throughout history. Analysis of the creature's gait and proportions by wildlife experts suggested it was too tall and lean to be a typical coyote or wolf, yet its movements appeared too natural to be someone in a costume. Multiple zoo employees reported unusual animal behavior in the days leading up to the sighting, with several species showing signs of distress and agitation, particularly during night hours. Environmental DNA testing conducted in the area revealed traces of unidentified canid DNA, though results were ultimately inconclusive due to sample degradation. Local Native American tribes pointed to similarities between the creature and ancient stories of skinwalkers, supernatural beings capable of transforming between human and animal form. Local Native American tribes pointed to similarities between the creature and ancient stories of skinwalkers, supernatural beings capable of transforming between human and animal form. Weather station data from that night showed unusual electromagnetic disturbances in the area, coinciding with the exact time of the sighting. The security camera that captured the image was part of a newly installed system with advanced motion detection, making it unlikely to be triggered by common wildlife or atmospheric phenomena. The Freie Interessengemeinschaft für Grenz- und Geisteswissen-schanften und Ufologeistudien, also known as FIGU, is a Swiss UFO research group that claims to maintain ongoing contact with extraterrestrial beings from the Plejari star cluster. The organization's founder, Edward Albert Meyer, has documented over 1,000 physical contacts with these beings since 1975, producing hundreds of photographs, metal samples, and sound recordings as evidence of these encounters. Scientific analysis of metal samples provided by Meyer showed unusual isotopic compositions that don't match any known terrestrial metals, containing combinations of thulium, bromine, and argon in ratios that couldn't be produced with Earth's current technology. Independent investigators have verified that Meyer's photographs were taken in the 1970s, before the advent of digital manipulation, and multiple experts have failed to replicate the images using the camera equipment available at that time. The Plejaran beings allegedly shared detailed scientific information with Meyer, including accurate predictions about Jupiter's rings and Saturn's moon Io years before these discoveries were made by NASA. Sound recordings of the alleged spacecraft were analyzed by audio experts and found to contain frequencies outside the range of any known aircraft or natural phenomena of that era. Multiple witnesses, including former military personnel and scientists, have provided sworn testimonies about observing unusual aerial phenomena around Meyer's property in Switzerland. The group maintains extensive documentation of their communications, including specific technological and social developments that were predicted decades ago and have since come to pass. The Jebba Fofi refers to a cryptozoological spider species reported in the Congo Basin, described by local tribes and Western explorers as having a leg span of up to 6 feet and distinctive yellow-orange markings. Multiple tribal groups across the region have consistent oral histories describing these giant arachnids, including detailed accounts of their web-building patterns, hunting behaviors, and seasonal migrations. British cryptozoologist William J. Gibbons documented numerous eyewitness reports during his expeditions in the 1980s, including encounters with spider webs strong enough to trap small animals. Local hunters have provided detailed descriptions of the spider's life cycle, noting that juveniles possess vibrant purple coloring which fades to brown as they mature, a characteristic that appears consistently in reports spanning several decades. Anthropologists have discovered cave paintings in the region depicting unusually large spider-like creatures, dating back several centuries and matching modern descriptions of the Jebba Fofi. Biological surveys of the Congo Basin have revealed several previously unknown mega-arthropod species, suggesting the ecosystem could potentially support larger arachnid species than currently recognized by science. In 2013, construction workers in the region uncovered massive tunnel systems with smooth, reinforced walls bearing trace evidence of silk proteins different from known spider species. Several expeditions have documented unusual depressions in the forest floor, approximately 3 feet in diameter, lined with unknown silk-like fibers that demonstrate unusual strength and elasticity properties. The Wormwood Star refers to a celestial anomaly documented by amateur astronomers in 1957, described as a rapidly moving star-like object that exhibited unusual color-shifting properties and seemingly defied known laws of celestial mechanics. Multiple observatories across North America tracked the object's irregular trajectory, noting its ability to change direction abruptly while maintaining constant luminosity, unlike any known astronomical phenomenon. Spectroscopic analysis from the Mount Wilson Observatory revealed an emission spectrum that contained unexplainable energy signatures, particularly in wavelengths typically associated with artificial radiation. The object was observed to periodically emit smaller, bright fragments that would orbit around it in geometric patterns before being reabsorbed, a behavior that has never been documented in any other celestial body. Military radar stations across 3 continents detected the object simultaneously, confirming its presence at altitudes far beyond the reach of conventional aircraft of that era. Declassified documents from Project Blue Book contain detailed reports of the object's interactions with Earth's magnetic field, causing localized disruptions in radio communications and electrical systems. Several prominent physicists of the time, including Dr. James McDonald, documented the object's apparent ability to alter its mass signature, suggesting it possessed properties inconsistent with known matter. The object disappeared from view after 74 days of observation, but left behind measurable changes in the upper atmosphere's ion concentration that persisted for several months. The Yeren is a bipedal hominid reported throughout the remote mountain ranges of central China's Hubei province, distinguished by its reddish-brown fur and documented heights reaching 7 to 8 feet tall. Chinese scientists have collected over 400 plaster casts of distinctive footprints since 1950, showing anatomical features that differ significantly from both humans and known great apes. Hair samples recovered from multiple locations in the Shenangjia forest region contain unique DNA markers that suggest an unknown primate species, with genetic elements distinct from both Homo sapiens and other known primates. Local agricultural workers have documented consistent patterns of bamboo damage at heights unreachable by known wildlife, with distinctive bite marks that match no known species in the region. The Chinese Academy of Sciences maintains a database of over 1,000 reported encounters, including detailed observations from trained scientists and military personnel during official expeditions. Analysis of reported vocalizations recorded in the Shenangjia Reserve reveal complex patterns of infrasound communication, suggesting social behaviors more advanced than typical great apes. Several caves in the region contain unusual modifications to rock surfaces that anthropologists believe indicate tool use by an unknown hominid species, with wear patterns dating back several centuries. Thermal imaging surveys conducted by wildlife researchers have captured large bipedal heat signatures moving through dense forest canopy at night, displaying movement patterns inconsistent with known regional wildlife. The brown note refers to a theoretical infrasound frequency between 5 and 9 Hz that allegedly causes humans to lose control of their bowel functions when exposed to sufficient amplitude. Military research documents from the 1970s detail experiments with low-frequency acoustic weapons, including studies of their effects on human physiology and involuntary muscle responses. Scientists have documented that certain infrasound frequencies can create resonance in human organs, particularly in the abdominal cavity, where frequencies around 7 Hz match the body's natural resonant frequency. Several unexplained incidents at experimental music concerts in the 1980s reported mass incidents of sudden gastrointestinal distress coinciding with the use of specific low-frequency sound equipment. Acoustic engineers have identified particular architectural spaces where standing waves can amplify infrasound frequencies to levels capable of inducing physical responses in humans. Declassified documents suggest various military organizations explored the possibility of using specific sound frequencies as non-lethal crowd control methods, though many details remain heavily redacted. Research facilities. Studying industrial noise pollution have recorded instances where workers exposed to certain low-frequency mechanical vibrations experienced unexpected gastrointestinal effects. Multiple independent laboratories have confirmed that sustained exposure to frequencies between 7 to 8 Hz can induce measurable changes in smooth muscle tissue response and autonomic nervous system function.